Hello, baby. Someone call Mr. UPS.
Mr. UPS? Aren't they on strike or something? What's going on?
How many
And I think
people?
it's FedEx.
First off, as a guy, as a
Or it
capitalist,
might be UPS.
Oh no.
everyone's going on strike. We should just
Everyone's
fire
going
them
on
all
damn strike.
and
Yeah.
replace them with robots.
Nobody wants to
I
work.
did see, it's finally happening. The robots are coming for my job specifically.
Really? You
Gizmodo,
yeah.
Gizmodo published a listicle that was written by AI. The listicle was it was literally just here are the Star Wars movies in chronological order and timeline order, but it didn't have all the movies and it got most of the order wrong, which I thought was pretty funny. So in that case, I'm
Damn
feeling kind of
droids.
safe. I feel like
Is that the kind of journalism you want to do now, like pop culture?
That's
journal-
actually all I want to do is write lists of Star Wars movies in chronological order. That is kind of the journalism that I want to do.
like all 10 of them or whatever.
Yeah, and every time there's a new one, I'll update the article, but that's really all I'm interested in writing now.
What's
Just,
Okay.
And not any other franchise, just Star Wars in chronological order.
so what's like the nerd version of BuzzFeed then? Because that's what it sounds like.
Well, that was Gizmodo. So
Oh, okay.
maybe
There you go.
Gizmodo.
That is it. That's it.
There was another one. AV Club did something that was written by an AI that
Polygon?
Oh,
Polygon?
yeah. that's
Polygon?
what maybe Well,
was. How about Polycule?
Is that us?
That could
Join
be
our
us.
polycule?
Yeah. But yeah, there was AV Club did something that was here are the highest grossing films of 2003 and also got all a lot of those wrong. Like there were movies from other years or the order is wrong. It's it's kind of funny. But yeah, that's the damn internet for you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when you said that they were gonna come for your job, I thought I was gonna see like a robot with a fedora and a press pass on it,
And
be
it's
hey, tell me what's going on. Yeah, I gave mine. Mine was more advanced than yours because he actually had a personality.
Yeah, mine doesn't have a personality. That's the thing about it. It's
It's like
completely
Terminator
dry.
Terminator 100, and then compared to the 800.
Which one?
T800?
Which one is the old Arnold who has? No, he doesn't have a wife. It's just a platonic life partner, right?
I mean that he's always a T800. That's what he is. 'Cause
Okay.
The security guard is the T1.
But
well,
I'm
not
trying to
security,
figure
I'm
out
sorry,
because
he's a
again, I
cop.
only know about the chronological order of Star Wars because that's what I'm writing about. But I don't know anything about Terminator.
Well, the good thing about Terminator is that after 2, they're all like alternate universes anyway. So
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't the same timeline as the first one, right? It's definitely not the
What's
same
the-
timeline as
what's the sucker
Terminator
name
Genesis.
what's Terminator Genesuck?
Genesuck, yeah.
Sucky sis?
Genesuckwa.
Genesuck qua.
Yeah, it's just that I don't know what that sucks, you know.
Okay, gotcha.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what's the other one? Terminator. Oh yeah, Dark Fate.
Dark Fate, Rise of Phoenix, Dark Phoenix.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
X-Men.
That's what I'm
X-Men
doing.
Dark
I never
Phoenix.
saw that one.
Me
I heard
neither.
it was. I heard people hated that movie when it came out, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was really that bad or if people.
What's it? I mean, the only truly awful movie I've ever seen is Holmes and Watson. That's the only.
That's really the only movie you've seen that you're like that was awful. Really?
I like truly. I mean, maybe Downsizing was pretty bad. I think that was pretty bad. But like most movies are still kind of funny, even if they're bad.
I mean,
You know
I
what
think I think that superhero movies have probably gotten worse since Dark Phoenix came out. So I'd be kind of interested in going back and seeing it's not good, but it's like,
Yeah.
wow, is this better than I don't know, fucking Ant-Man, Quantumania,
And the Wasp.
Quantum Mango.
Quantum Mango? Yeah. It's a little drink that that they had at the AMC.
Oh yeah, and at the MacGuffin bar, which I still
Yeah.
never have done. I'm never there.
It's so
early enough to do it.
expensive. It's not worth it. All the drinks are not that good. That you can get like a tall boy of beer for it's like you're at a ball game. You're paying like $18 for a tall boy.
You would assume that when you're at these places like concessions, like the high price would make people not do it, but people love getting concessions. I don't
Well,
understand
that's
it.
literally how theaters make all of their money. Like they're
I know.
like
I
they're
just
popcorn
don't
places
understand.
that also have
Like
movies.
Yeah.
in between like a symphony performance, or even I went to see Into the Woods last night. Like people like make a mad dash to get their damn glasses, like $20 glass of wine, and
Well,
like
see,
their
I think it's just like
$50 nuts.
if you want a glass of wine, or if you want a bag of peanuts, or like I did this like when I went to see the
What did you see?
Spider-Man movie.
Oh,
'Cause
that's the most
I've
recent one I've
been
seen.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm in the Bay Area for the summer, and so on nights where I'm not doing anything, I'll just go to a local AMC. I mean, that's what I did before, but I'm doing
Yeah,
it here too.
I don't know what you're describing as anything different than what we do in our free time.
Exactly, but anyway, I went to see that, and while I was there, it was either that or Indie, one of those two movies. I was like, I could really go for some popcorn, and I got a popcorn, a water, and a bag of candy, and that was $21 altogether.
Here's the thing:
Sounds
if
about
I'm
right.
ordering that, that's my dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I mean
that's
that ended up being my dinner. I didn't eat anything afterwards, but it was a great dinner, by the way. Popcorn, candy, and water. But it was like one of those things where I just wanted the popcorn and the candy, and
you're not on the
no
Eton
matter what
level
the
where
price
you get
tag said.
the large popcorn.
No, because I'm not
and
gonna.
you
I
get
don't need the large.
well,
even though
you get to.
I know you get
So
it for free, but I'm not gonna eat all that popcorn.
well, that's also the other answer.
Yeah, so if
But-
it's
but
like
the
if it's
cla-
no
the
difference,
meal-
I might as well get the amount that I can actually eat instead of either
Okay,
stuffing
what
myself
matter?
silly.
The real way to do it is large popcorn, mozzarella sticks, and the pretzel bites. That's the if you're going to have to eat at the movie theater, you might as well get the good stuff.
You know what I love doing? I
do you love
like
doing?
taking a box of Bunch of Crunch and putting it in the popcorn because
Yeah.
that you get some
Amen, brother.
yeah, you get the mix. It fits in really well with the popcorn because it looks like popcorn. The chocolate kind of melts and it gets.
I only eat things that look like the same thing.
I mean, I'm such a movie lover that yeah, I have like mostly a popcorn based diet.
I mean, that's why you and James. I mean, James will listen to this when it comes out. Obviously, because no one listens to this before it comes out.
No, we do.
just me.
He always gets popcorn every time we go. He's, not to say that we've replaced Spencer, but the white guy eating popcorn. At
The white
movie
guy
every
eating
single time.
popcorn.
Yeah, he's got.
I mean, so
It
there's
doesn't
some
matter
movies
if
that
it's like 11 o'clock at night. He's got to do it.
there's some movies that I feel like need a popcorn. That's why it's like Indiana Jones or the big superhero movies. You gotta have that corn. Or but sometimes if you're going to see The Day the
Past
Clown
Life.
Cried or something,
Oh.
then you're probably not going to want any popcorn. Or maybe you will. No one's ever seen that movie. so
Is
it could
Tar
be
a
funny.
popcorn? Is Tar a popcorn movie?
I don't think I had popcorn during Tar, but sometimes I do just get the Bunch of Crunch by itself.
Is
Yeah,
Oppenheimer
I
a popcorn movie?
What is that?
Is Oppenheimer
I
a popcorn
think
movie?
so.
Do they have a commemorative popcorn bucket that's either shaped like his Stetson or in a mushroom cloud? Or the Fat Boy or Little Man?
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like,
was-
you
Or
skipped
Fat
the
Man
most
or Little Boy, if I'm getting those wrong.
I think it's
Fat
Fat
Boy.
Boy.
and the little man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have our Oppenheimer. I mean, our July bonus.
Listen, you got to get on that Patreon.
I
'cause
will
the
say-
movies-
Yeah, I will say that this might be the best year of menswear movies of all time so far. I mean, I don't know, maybe like compared to like 1940 something. They might have
Yeah, I
been
was gonna
movies-
say probably like just 1938 was probably pretty good.
Yeah, 1938, 1977. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm working for UPS because I'm wearing brown. That's the
Oh,
topic.
that's
of
how
the
you were doing.
episode. Woohoo! All right, welcome everyone.
And then one more thing I did want to actually bring up. I saw this on Twitter. I think our next thing that we need to do is find someone whose brain has been broken by online conspiracy and just make them even more insane by convincing them that we are like time travelers or Illuminati or aliens or something like that. Because I saw a whole thread yesterday of someone filmed some vintage like people in London. I really want to go through the video and see if we actually like know them because I bet we do. And they were just like, this is crazy. Time travelers at like, this train station in England or something. And literally all the comments are just like these like blue check freaks that are just being like the simulation seems to be slipping recently. Something is off or whatever. It's like the dark demons are out today. And I'm just like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. They're just seeing some people in old clothes that are like straight up like this is the devil's work. I'm so excited that we potentially have that kind of power.
I
think we
would
could do
love
that?
to do that. I mean, yesterday, if you just film me doing stuff, I'll be like, I'm a time traveler because I was wearing
How
the
many
whole
times do you
fedora.
think people have taken photos or videos of us to make fun of us without our knowledge? I know that's happened to me at least once or twice.
I want it so
Yeah.
bad.
It
Yeah,
probably just goes
you
to
want-
like a private group chat since like
Yeah, that's
nobody's
the sad part. Like,
nobody's ever
no one
turned
wants to
us
get
off.
canceled for being openly bullying, but
No, I feel like that happens literally all the time on the. I see that so much on Twitter. People will just take a photo of a stranger and be like, "Look at this goofy MF."
I'm not gonna say it on here. I don't want to cancel myself. But no, I get it. Like, yeah, no, I'm saying I'm surprised no one's ever taken a photo of me. But I think it's also because we dress cooler now. Although yesterday
Yeah.
I was straight up like Ethan and like 18 years old. I mean, the good way, right? Like brown
Yeah.
suit, collar bar, and my new Wilma gray fedora. We're going off topic here, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone did that to me yesterday because I was like straight up like the most like golden era I've been in a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I just want to see. I want to see the TikTok making fun of us of someone being like,
it's like the opposite of like that girl that like videotaped Matt Woodruff smoking. Like, oh my god, this is my husband. And then the opposite is, look at these idiots on the
"Look at these goofballs." Yeah.
the fedora guys. I
Mhm.
will say maybe I did hold Isabel's hand a little bit harder to be like, hey guys, see, I'm actually vetted. I'm a normal guy with a girlfriend here.
I'm
not
a
just
normal guy.
Well,
I'm not
she
just walking
thinks
around with a
you're
fedora.
cool, right? So
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm very lucky.
Mhm.
Maybe we gotta have Isabel on the podcast or on a bonus episode to say if I looked like this and it's a picture of Ethan at like 17 with like a fedora and like a cane and being like, would you date this guy?
Kane.
Would 17-year-old
Yeah.
Isabel date this guy?
Well, I mean, you have trouble walking if you have a cane, so I don't know why. That's not a good.
she wouldn't date someone. You telling me
Yeah,
that she's
because
able?
she hates people with canes.
Oh,
She
no.
doesn't. I'm making a prank here.
Yeah, this is
I don't
fake
want her to
Isabel.
get canceled.
Isabel. Welcome guys to Style Direction, the menswear
Welcome to
podcast without the
the-
stuffiness.
Yeah, the
Uh,
least ableist menswear podcast.
Yeah, we're the closest thing to Cumtown that menswear's got. I don't
That's
even
right.
know
We're
if
gonna
is
get
Cumtown
we're gonna get
ableist
Taylor
or
Swift's
not
next
ableist?
boyfriend canceled. I don't listen to Cumtown.
Yeah, me neither.
I've heard the clips on YouTube, but I've never listened to a full episode.
I don't need to listen to something that's the same name as my bed.
Exactly, it's a whole town.
it's a whole.
Think of all the cum that's on there.
Oh, I guess
How big
that
is
should
your
be the next
bed,
fucking Pixar movie, like Elemental 2 or something.
Elemental 2, :
Yeah.
Cumtown.
Exactly.
So bad.
And it's like, wait a
See-
minute, we just discovered a bunch of new elements, and there's like blood. There is yellow bile, and then
I was gonna say those aren't elements, but again, neither is fire or water.
actually, yeah. Wait, maybe they should just make a movie. Like Pixar should make a movie about the humors,
Oh, okay.
like the four humors:
I don't know what that is.
yellow bile, black bile. You don't know the four humors?
No.
It's all the bile.
Like the.
That's what. Okay, we're getting way off topic, but that was an ancient Greek belief that you have to have a good balance of your fluids. So there's
fluids.
blood,
Okay.
there's yellow bile, there's phlegm, and black bile.
Great.
Yeah, so I think
I
that they
don't
should
think I
make.
want either of those things.
It's four things. I think that they need to make a movie about this.
Okay. Yeah. Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixar presents the four biles, the four humors,
The four humors. That's right.
humorous, and it's a tragedy.
I'll send you a picture of what they look like because
No.
someone in
No.
the 17th century, this is not actual bile, someone in the 17th century, or 18th century, sorry, decided to draw them as people.
Okay.
And so that's what the characters look like.
Flamelicus, Cholerus, Sanguinus, and Melancholis.
Yeah, who's your favorite of these guys? I like Melancholis or whatever. He's got some interesting going on with his face.
Sanguinus looks like the Crystal Skull.
He kind of does.
Yeah.
So
We should watch that. I mean, we have to watch that again.
We will. We will.
I have to be the phlegm one, right? So
Yeah.
You have to.
yeah.
Every friend group has blood, a black bile, a phlegm, and a yellow bile.
Yeah.
That's racist. You can't say that, Spencer.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. We're talking about brown suits today. This is the menswear. I'm
That's
Ethan
right.
M. Wong.
I'm Spencer DSO.
And I'm MJ.
And special shout out to Kiyoshu, who's probably been like, what the fuck are these guys fucking talking about
Welcome
here?
back.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to After the Break. I think this either will come out first or there will be a special interview. I don't want to spoil it if it didn't come out yet. Or if it doesn't matter. We change up the schedule all the time, baby.
Yeah, if it did
We're
come
time
out, you already know what
travelers.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're time travelers. That's right.
Yeah. Canonize that. But today we are talking about one of our favorite things. It might be
One
one
of
of the
them.
most. It might be probably one of the most iconic things we do. Not that we are icons.
We invented these. Yeah.
Because all we do is we wear things that other people wear. So it's not like we're canonizing it, but we are canonizing our love of the brown suit today on the podcast.
Love of the brown.
That's right. And I think first let's talk about the reason why we like it. Actually, no. Unlike a lot of people, I do not wear things because people don't wear it. But I do think that there is a quality to that makes us consider it a little bit, or maybe like that just, we all like niche things, right? I like John Williams not just because people don't compose like him anymore. I also like him for his own merit. And I can say the same thing about brown suits. I think brown suits are great, and they happen to not be a popular choice. That is changing nowadays, but, back when I first started wearing it, people were like, brown suits are crazy, or why would you spend money on a brown suit? Because you'll never have a reason to wear it.
No, it's nice. So yeah, it's a little bit of distinctive. I remember one of the first times I wanted like a brown suit. I remember,
First impressions.
hey, we'll do an episode on like Mad Men eventually, but I remember Ken Cosgrove, his character, wore like brown and olive suits most of the time. I just like that kind of like, I just like that little distinction that he got from everyone else who was wearing like the grays and the navies and stuff like that. But yeah, it's also, I mean, we're into vintage obviously, and brown suits just tended to be a lot more common at a time when people were wearing suits more often and needed, more casual versions of suits.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if suits are the lingua franca, right? Like that's just what people wore. So you'd have a casual suit. It wasn't like you'd be wearing jeans. Like this would be a version of wearing jeans. I guess you also had separates back then, but if you still wanted to wear a suit, but you weren't in business mode or formal mode, you would wear a brown suit of some style. But of course, that's kind of an outdated thing. But that idea kind of stays true today, weirdly, right? As suits have become just about occasion wear, casual versions of it aren't necessary because you would just wear casual clothing. And so today, when guys pick suits, they often pick blue or gray, which are the typically the most formal colors. I'm glad to see that people aren't picking black as much, which kind of is funny because I'm sure in the future we'll talk about black suits because they're just cool, if in linen or whatever. But as of now, most people wear blue or gray. It's standard, corporate friendly, because that's why people buy suits to begin with. They need it for work, they need it for funerals, they need it for job interviews.
And because I think also like brown suits are kind of associated with like old men or professors, like that kind of like book. Hey, it's bookcore, but that kind of like bookish, like old fashioned thing. And so I'll also say that I think most guys who are not necessarily into fashion will probably go for something that reads a little bit more like sleek, slick, modern stuff like that.
Yeah, which I guess, and we'll make the case a little bit later about why brown can still do those things. We all wear brown suits, and I love wearing brown suits when I go out. I wear my brown suit more often than my navy suit,
Yeah.
But one of the things though is like Spencer kind of alluded to is it's crazy to see when you look at old illustrations, Esquire Man, or just like straight up like suit ads in the 30s. They are like right next to navy and gray suits. Like they are
brown suits were super common. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm looking at some in the album right now where actually I don't even see navy on this ad. I just see gray shadow stripe and very slight pinstripe, and then brown suits in 3-piece suits, 3-piece peak lapel, single breasted peak lapel, double breasted.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see how common this was. and it does make you think like why, how we got there, and it's kind of hard to find you know actual evidence of like when this shift happened, because like no there's no fashion journal fashion journalism is technically kind of still a little bit new, right? Like it's not like, and people aren't really tracking what people wore. I can't recall if the Esquire Man Encyclopedia to 20th Century Men's Fashion mentions about brown suits. you
Actually, I
know
bet it does. Hold on. I have the scan somewhere.
okay, I'll keep going on this. And so obviously this goes back to the whole rule about like no brown in town, right? And it's an English rule, um, that that says like since brown is the color of the country, tweeds, etc. These things tend to be brown, mostly because undyed wools are brown. We kind of talked about it, like there's like that natural color that just you know, and dyes are expensive. Dyeing it gray, dyeing it blue, like it just made sense that over time those things became formal and more suited for business compared to brown, which is like a casual working class color or casual color.
So hang on. I don't think we're gonna have time to read through all of it, but there is an entire section in the Encyclopedia of Menswear called "Color and Color Combinations" that is a timeline going back to the 1920s of what color combinations were popular.
Can you see when brown stopped being there, or when brown was there?
I'm gonna keep scanning. As we have noted, the fashionable dresser dared to improve or improvise and break fashion rules, wearing, for example, black shoes and hat with brown suits in Esquire in October 1935.
I
So
do
hey,
have that image.
yeah, the blazer jacket.
Yeah. But yeah. So no brown in town. It's very English, and it's usually done in form for shoes, right? Like that's kind of what it is. Like you wear brown leather shoes in the country because that's like a regular common person thing, but you wear black shoes when you're doing business. It's corporate, and it's this article by the Guardian, which I'll include in the show notes, does say that people were locked out. I mean, this is from 2016, not too recent, but they were saying how like corporate guys just do not wear brown shoes if they want to get hired. If you want to work for like what's it, Lloyd's of London, like the big insurance firm, you'd have to wear dark suits and dark black shoes. You know,
Yeah,
this
I
is
will.
here. Browntown isn't done. It's just sartorially wrong. So it's kind of fun that
That's
these guys
stupid.
were like, yeah,
I mean, like with a lot of menswear rules, like the whole like white after Labor Day thing. I think that's something like that you would see in like fucking etiquette magazines or something. That the people who actually like clothes don't care. People with actual style don't care. Anyway, this is kind of an interesting little thing that I pulled out. Even we just said that brown suits were a lot more common, but obviously there was still some sort of stigma against them. Because it says in May 1935, Esquire endorsed for spring in a brown double-breasted flannel suit, advising any man who protested that he could not wear brown that his phobia did not apply to slate brown, a blend of brown and gray that by the simplest subtraction of all red and yellow tones becomes flattering to any complexion. So yeah, even in the 30s, some men were just afraid of brown.
you fucking losers.
Why are you
Yeah.
afraid?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The article that I have about the Guardian, it does, yeah, it goes back and forth between some guys who were like, I'll never wear brown shoes, and then then some guys were like, oh, I work in sales and I don't, like, nothing happens to me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is about shoes, but it does show you people are averse to wearing brown in general because they hear the rule, you know. I remember, again, this is about shoes, but it being an MFA, this was years ago, where I was I was saying like how a guy was like, oh, you'll never need to wear brown shoes. I'm like, that's fucking crazy, dude. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy was like, well, you can't be done. And I showed pictures of Esquire Man of guys wearing like navy suits and gray suits with brown shoes, and he goes, well, that's American. And I'm
Huh.
like, oh, so yeah, this really is like an American thing. And this article does indeed say like people in other European countries like the Netherlands and of course America, they all wear brown shoes with corporate suits. But it's London or the UK that's kind of sticks to wearing black shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Permanent Style says like shoes show how English the rule is.
Those damn English.
The
Yeah.
English.
So yeah, brown is the color that a gentleman working in the city wore when he returned home or on the weekend. But for the English people, business meant black. And so again, this translates to tailoring. And of course, and we're in the era where people just repeat maxims. You know what I mean? Like they just like, oh, your shoulders shouldn't go farther than your bone. And nowadays we're like, yeah, no, it should, because that's how you get a bad. Some people don't get jackets that fit them. But yeah, people are now really, really averse to wearing brown. Or at the very least nowadays, it's just not a high priority, right? Like if a guy is buying a suit, you just don't choose to wear it. You won't choose brown because if you're going to be casual, you'll wear something else. And even if people can appreciate a brown suit, they probably don't need it high on their list. So they
Yeah.
probably will get brown. Oh, sorry, they'll probably get blue and navy first.
Yeah,
Um,
brown is kind of like that's when you're an enthusiast, when you're doing it for yourself, that's the color
yeah,
you get.
yeah. I
Because it's
it's
also like they're harder to find. Like I think we talk a lot about obviously not if you go to a nice menswear store, but if you're a regular guy who mostly just shops at the mall or goes to Men's Warehouse or something like that, it's pretty hard to find brown suits.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things where, and we have an episode slated about like trends and fatigue, and maybe wondering about how we get into things, and maybe if brown was just maybe if brown was a regular, uh, widely available choice, I wonder if I would have loved it so much. But the thing is, we were all kind of unable to, complete the purchase, to actually start wearing it until we found our brown
Yeah.
suits,
But I
and
also think
again,
that kind of
yeah.
added to it because, like, we've talked about this before with like double-breasted suits, where it's
Hmm.
like getting
Hmm.
easier to find now, but back in the day, that was like really rare to find in stores. And so there was this kind of like mystique about it, where it's like, oh my god, like you had to really dig to find this thing. And maybe that's changing a little bit, but I think it was pretty similar with brown suits, at least for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, it's just funny to hear about why people just don't do it. I mean, someone brought up how it could be a class divide thing. Like you don't want to look. I mean, it is what it is, right? You don't want to look casual. Like you want to look like you have a business suit. That's why you.
Yeah.
That's why you don't. You avoid wearing the country colors in the city. Apparently, according to or this is from S Wade here in our Discord. I totally forgot. I forgot his handle. But it's fine. But yeah, he says that there's a lot of brown tailoring in the '70s that were bad. Very polyestery, and so maybe people don't do that as much. It does seem kind of like disco-y or like car salesman-y, if I think about like how people portrayed brown suits. Um, and then yeah, all the how to dress manuals. I wonder if dressing the man has it. I know it's kind of a newer dressing
Ooh.
manual,
Yeah.
but we should have done some more. But this is less about why people don't buy it and why we love it. So
We
don't
love
don't
it.
come after us because we don't have all these reasons why people don't wear it. Because
Yeah.
the sentiment is also changing because all of these reasons are why people wear brown suits today. They want to not wear corporate stuff. They want to evoke the '70s, and
Yeah.
they just want to want to be a little stinker. They want to change it up a little bit.
And I mean, we've talked about the brown suits not being like quote unquote like cool or sexy or whatever, but it's like as you said, like I feel like that the photo that Derek's posted a couple times of Twitter of you with the very tonal look with the brown double breasted suit, the brown shirt.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
a
that's a
single
pretty cool.
breasted, but
That's a
yeah.
pretty okay. Well, anyway, but that's a pretty slick, like kind of
That
cool
is a
look with a
sexy
brown
outfit.
suit.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was already dating Isabel by then, but imagine if that was on my dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, as my friend James would say. And it's funny, what's really cool is James, his only suit for a while. He just no, he doesn't have any other suit. Actually no, he did buy my brown corduroy suit because I just don't wear because it's the slim Spear McKay trousers. But his only suit was a brown linen suit, and I'm like, that's pretty good, right? Like it shows you, like, I mean, imagine if we just got started menswear now, like so many options out there to do what we like
Yeah.
instead of being like hunt always on the hunt. But again, it didn't stop me from acquiring my wardrobe. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, the times are changing. But before we get to that point of it, I mean, people did wear brown as a separate jacket. I know we have our
Mm-hmm.
own episode as a brown check jacket. maybe not a lot of solid jackets, but it still had brown in it.
Yeah.
Houndstooth, window pane,
Or I think
etc.
if it is brown solid, then you're gonna find obviously like their brown tends to be more casual, so you're gonna find it with like a lot more texture. So it's either gonna be like I have a like brown corduroy is obviously very common. Like brown like herringbone tweeds and stuff like that are very common. But yeah, you're not gonna I don't know you're not gonna find many just like plain brown solid, like worsted sport coats.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's funny how much I saw it when we were in vintage, right? Like that's kind of like what made it happen. Um, I think obviously when you see guys who are dressed more in like the 30s and 40s, you'll see a lot more brown tailoring compared to like later on. I think it's kind of, I mean, obviously the people that we hung out with were not in the 60s or 70s, so we just didn't see that stuff until we saw the movies and it kind of expanded. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember like seeing like Benny, all these collectors have really great brown suits, and I'm like, damn. And as a kid, again, like
Damn.
as someone who goes to the mall, who went to J Crew for like a button-up shirt, or maybe not even that, maybe just Zara, like these places don't have brown suits, and it kind of tied in. It to me, it made brown such an iconic or such a tent pole of like what I wanted to look like. Like I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
wear a brown suit because it just seemed slouchy. It also seemed fun. It didn't seem out of place for the things that I was doing. It kind of made the most sense because like I didn't want to
Yeah.
look too corporate around these people. And whether it's single-breasted or double-breasted, I really wanted it. And
Mm-hmm.
as I was getting into menswear and vintage, this was also the era of like the really big infographic, real men, real style stuff, where you're also getting bombarded with, oh yeah, real men don't wear brown suits. So it was like a weird thing of like, I'm seeing so many guys wear this thing, I'm seeing so much inspiration, and I'm getting told not to wear it. So yeah,
Well, if,
maybe
if
it is a little bit of like, fuck all of this, I'm gonna do it.
it's funny because like so much of that came from, and again, we'll save this for the future episode on Mad Men, but so much of that came from that like I saw so many guides that were like when I was looking up like 60s style suits or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
like, if you want to be like Don Draper, just stick to the classic grays. You don't need any other color. You just wear white shirts and stuff like that. And then meanwhile, like other characters on the show are like wearing the brown suits with like yellow shirts and like green ties and a bunch of crazy shit like that. I'm like, how come no one else is like looking at this stuff? How come everyone just wants to dress so boring? Yeah, I
I
always thought it
mean,
was kind of funny that it's like I was gravitating towards all the characters that all the menswear
no,
writers were completely ignoring.
Yeah.
totally off topic. And this is not like an epiphany for anything, but like guys want to dress. They say don't have main character energy. They always make fun of it, but like guys want to be the main character. People want
They
to be the
do.
main character,
People want to
and
be. I mean, you fucking look at the Sigma male edits on like whatever. Everyone just wants to be goddamn Peaky
John Draper,
Blinders or
yeah,
Don
John
Draper. Or
Williams.
who's the other guy that
Hello.
who's the other guy that people always like?
Uh, uh,
Uh,
Tommy
There's
something.
I
there's a
don't
bunch of
know.
other ways.
Yeah.
I seen Brad Pitt from like Achilles show up recently. I don't know what that is.
oh,
But
that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, people want to be that, and I think the issue, for a long time is that there wasn't any like character wearing a brown suit that people like really wanted to be. And maybe this is just us being nerds, but I get it, Spencer. I get the idea that you want to be like the side characters or there's more camaraderie there. Maybe it's like
Yeah.
maybe there's a self-image thing there. But I think
Well,
it's
I mean,
fun because
also like
yeah.
the thing is like I've always like one of the things I always liked doing in vintage was just thinking it's like how would like if I had my life circumstances, how would I dress in like whatever year it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like I
Absolutely.
never thought I would be like the cool slick Don Draper. I thought I'd be like like the random guy in the background wearing a
I'm
OCD
literally what's
dude.
his name? Who's Ken? No, I'm
Ken
not. I guess I am
Cosgrove?
Ken. I am Ken because
Yeah.
I'm the account manager, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
Or
but
Pete.
yeah, no, yeah, or ugh, boy, um, but yeah, I've always liked that idea. And when you look at Esquire Man, like regular guys, these aren't movie stars, right? And I'm sure that there are famous. I don't know what color the it happened one night suit is. In my head, it's a brown three-piece flannel bellow pocket suit. I don't know if there's a color image of it. It could be gray for all I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like in my head, like I really liked brown, and maybe one of the hey, shout out to Derek if he's making me one of the faces of brown suits. And so it's like, if you want to look like this guy, you should do brown. I think that's what's missing. And hey, we'll get to trends and what people attract to in the future episode. But for me, I was able to really appreciate brown, without like having like again a main character. Because James Bond, I think in the '70s wore brown suits. I think he wore like Roger Moore had a brown suit at some point.
That wouldn't
But
surprise me.
obviously the Craig and the Brosnan part of it, like they didn't really have brown suits, but we just liked it a lot. I mean, I think I've shared it when we had like I think I posted on Instagram a while back, but one of the first suits that really fit me. I didn't buy it, but it's a brown um a brown checkerboard weave 3-piece suit, double breasted. First thing I found at the set shop, brown 3-piece, and I love it. And I didn't buy it, but like that was so like iconic to me because I wanted to wear a brown suit. It's just so good. I mean, Tintin wears a brown suit. Remember, we gotta do
Yeah.
our menswear and Tintin
There you go. Yeah.
episode. But yeah, I don't know. What about so Spencer, you have Mad Men stuff. I have like Tintin and straight up just Esquire illustrations. MJ, when did you start liking the brown suit?
Um, mine is, well, my inspiration is like less interesting or less dramatic because it literally is just watching you guys.
So I was gonna say it's us. You saw us do it, and you're like, I want that.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then
it's
guess
just.
what?
I mean,
MJ
it's
gets to ascend by wearing the exact same clothes because he gets to wear the brown suit that Derek posts is the suit MJ wears as his brown suit.
yes,
There you go.
and yeah, and the boring answer where it's like, I just read the blog and look at the pictures.
It is interesting that I haven't written one until now about
The brown suit.
the brown suit. I mean, we did the brown check jacket, and in that I kind of have to introduce this idea of like why brown in general is cool. Because again, most guys when they wear separates, and I'm talking about most generally. Sometimes I'm talking to hashtag menswear. Sometimes I'm talking about a random dude. They'll still wear like a navy odd jacket or whatever, but brown. We still have to make the case for brown.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to do, and I'm glad we have the chance to do it now. But I'm glad MJ's getting that from us because we and for a lot of people too. I mean, sometimes people will ask me like, "Hey, like, where do you get the brown suits?" And I unfortunately always have to say it's vintage. But the good thing is that it's coming back now. I mean, we've seen like Alex Svetkovich wear brown, Ethan Newton, all the guys in menswear. I mean, it's kind of like trending in a sense, whereas menswear becomes a little bit more open, a little bit more a little bit less focused on like corporate attire. We're seeing a lot of brown suits, and even in my inspiration album, I'm surprised how much Permanent Style has always liked brown suits, like brown linen, which is again surprising for him because we always see Simon as like a very corporate guy, but he's always kind of appreciated like the wide berth of tailoring that you can do, and brown is
Yeah.
definitely one
Well,
of them.
I mean, again, like if you are a corporate guy and you wear suits a lot, if you like how you wear on, like, if you like how you look in suits, you're probably going to want to get some suits you can wear on your days off. And hey, brown is the
Yeah.
perfect choice for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think most people tend to default to like a khaki suit, or like a beige suit, and we'll include some of those images there. I mean, and we'll talk about my khaki suits later on because I feel like that's a little bit summary. But for the purposes of this, I know we're like halfway through the episode at this point, but like I really like the dark chocolate brown because in my head, I knew I could wear that like formally. You know what I mean? Like, because I knew I'm not English, right? I'm not gonna have to have those strict dress codes, and I knew that people aren't gonna care. You know what I mean? Like people like they see like if it's dark, if the suit is dark enough and well
Yeah.
cut enough, people will not care. It's not like you're wearing like a 3-piece tweed suit, or whatever, which will have like kind of very overt visual connotations. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I would if I lived in a colder climate and I had even more of a bigger closet. I'd have a 3-piece tweed. I have a 3-piece flannel suit, but But I mean, a brown worsted wool suit I think is still perfectly able to wear to the office. I probably would wear that a lot. I think it looks good with black shoes, looks good with a dark tie. I mean, Frasier wears a
Frasier.
lot of like dark brown suits, and tonal stuff. So I always believe that you could wear brown
Yeah.
more often than people say.
Well, there's
Um,
the I can't remember if it's dye workwear or Derek for put this on, but the happy suit or something.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
I can't. Maybe that's either one.
Maybe
That's the
both.
same
I
person.
don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's I think about that too, where a lot of those are kind of this idea of just like just like a suit or a sport coat or something to wear. Like if you're just going to a nice brunch or something over the weekend. And I know that he definitely brown suits feature heavily in that article.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about the. I mean, we've kind of described why the color is inherently alternative, right? Because
Yeah, it's
it's
all.
just literally, yeah, it's alt, baby. It's just literally like just not what you'd expect, and I think people do know that. Um, people have the rules in their head, so when they see a guy wearing a brown suit, especially if it's done well, hopefully by me and Spencer and MJ, they get to see that hey, we can like you can actually wear this stuff out, and I think one of the reasons why I do wear mine with a tie most often is to kind of reinforce the idea that you can still wear a tie with it. It doesn't. It can be formal even if you think the color is casual. You know,
Hmm.
because I think it's easy. When you and I wear it, Spencer, with like denim shirts, chambray, like
Yeah,
that's kind of a given. With how brown suits are, and and obviously, Brown tends to work with those casual stuff a little bit better. It makes more narrative sense because Brown is casual. It's most likely probably in like a linen, a cotton, something like in a
tweed or
casual
something.
fabric. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
way like the mixture with casual fabrics and shirting kind of makes more sense. Um, but again, I want to reinforce the idea that you can wear it with like like an OCBD, which also makes sense because OCBDs are the most casual tie wearing shirt, I guess.
Hmm.
But you can also wear it with like a spear point collar. But if it wasn't me, people wear it all the time with like spread collars and everything. I mean, you look at Pity Womo. Lots of guys wear brown. I was just saying how it's like kind of trending in tailoring and at Pity, like a lot of brown suits, especially spring summertime, tobacco, khaki, but also like chocolate browns, dark browns, charcoal browns. Um, you get to see that a lot, and it kind of it's really cool. You don't see too much of like the corporate look outside of like maybe like Anglo Italian or some like Japanese brand heads of brand, whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
But the brown suit is kind of like the de jour um for like the classic menswear realm because it's again people are kind of upholding this idea that it's the casual country look, but we have the freedom to wear that now we because nothing matters anymore.
Nothing matters.
Um,
Yeah, no brown in town. How would I put
Brown
some
all over
black
this
and
town.
blue on your face?
Oh,
Is that a
what's black and red all over?
That was black and red all over.
Black.
The anarchist flag.
That's right,
there you
baby.
go.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I also like the idea of a suit because it's so cohesive for brown, right? Like it's
Hmm.
just a solid color. It's I think separates as I get older. We've talked about this in the Discord where like we kind of wear separates less because maybe you have like dedicated casual outfits, and so when you do wear a sport coat, you might as well wear the whole thing as a suit. You
I mean,
know?
yeah, there's something to the just cohesion of yeah, just having everything match. It's pretty nice.
Yes, and I think it's really cool when it's done with brown. I feel like it's super freeing, um, and I really do like it. I mean, we do wear it a lot. I think guys in the Discord wear it a lot. And it is kind of interesting where some of my only solid suits were brown. I mean, or at least I wore it a lot. I had the brown Natty Adams suit. I now have brown single breasted, double breasted wool suits.
Hmm.
Um, but I do like it a lot because I think yeah, the brown suit is like inherently slouchy. I think because of what people expect from it, and I feel like that operating off of that mindset, kind of like it's kind of related to I just assume everyone's gonna hate my outfit, make fun of me.
Yeah.
So like it's like you might as well just go full send. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a brown suit, kind of like you can wear it with a. It makes sense to wear it with a beret, wear it with like a turtleneck, wear it with Fair Isle, spear point collar, loafers, white socks, because you're already kind of confronting people's expectations, on
Hmm.
what on what a suit should be. I feel like when you wear it with gray or navy, you start to be like, oh, you're just being you're trying a little too hard. But like with brown, you're already making a choice. You're already trying hard, so why don't you try hard a little bit more?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Come on, idiots.
Just try
Yeah.
hardest, man.
Try
And I
hardest.
I I do like brown DB suits. I mean, I feel like that obviously the sad head canon is DB, and then you add brown to it, and it's already there. But it's like two rare things in one, right? I mean, at least when we first started getting started, right? Double breasted very rare, brown very rare. So put those two things together, and you get a very cool look. And this also again plays with the formality aspect or the formality expectations because people kind of assume double breasted is formal, even though we've
Yeah.
dispelled that or tried to dispel it. Um, but you can but wearing that in a brown suit is like whoa, what, you can do that, you know? Because most people pinstripes, most people double breasted suits are navy gray pinstripe, right? But you don't really get to do that with brown. So having it in the brown DB is like the top tier, which is why it was um, one of the things I just had to have as I was getting older,
Yeah.
and getting more able to get what I wanted. But yeah, I mean, I always wanted to have that brown double-breasted suit that I tried on at the set shop such a long time ago, and I actually never had a brown 1930s suit.
Mm.
Like I did have a single-breasted one, and then I did have the sack suit that Spencer and I both have from Brooks Brothers 346.
Yeah.
But I never had the brown DB, and so it was something that, and you know, obviously you guys know that I have given up a lot of my vintage suits, or actually all of them, because of how heavy they are, and I want to be able to wear mine more regularly. But again, when I was able to save up enough money, um, I got the brown double-breasted suit in crisp air, the best fabric in the world,
There it
and
is.
I get to be that guy again, you know.
You are that guy.
I'm the
Uh,
the guy.
Yeah,
I'm
but
I'm
but,
thinking
yeah,
of John Wick.
But before we get into our own brown suits and how we wear them, what any other thoughts, MJ? I know you were talking a little bit. What do you did you have hangups on the brown suit? I mean, you said that you got inspiration from seeing us do it, which is again easy, and I always get to go, MJ, try this on, and then
Yeah.
eventually you own it.
Right.
But what about like yeah? Did you grow up with any of these things, like you know, going to church or whatever?
Yeah, I don't think I really had exposure to brown suits growing up. Like you were saying earlier, it was mostly like, you know, the the blues, like, or like the navies, the grays, the darker color suits.
Yeah.
The occasional beige or tan suit, right? But not like the dark brown suits that we probably are thinking about right now. But
Mhm.
I didn't really have any um, like hang-ups or aversions to it once I, started looking, started trying on clothes. Um, it was actually pretty an easy sell for me because it was like um, a dress up or dress down um, piece of clothing or set of clothing, because it was,
Yeah.
like in this day and age, it like doesn't matter that we're wearing brown to whatever we want.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad that we had like the situation that you could wear it. I think that's what most guys are kind of like, you know, to go back to the beginning, right? People don't know when they would wear a brown suit. They don't have a lot of like that happy time because again, when you're going out with your friends, you might not wear a suit in general, right? So
Yeah.
you still don't need it. But I think it's fun in our circles. People kind of get to do that. And again, like shout out to James, who had the the brown linen suit before we were even friends. Though, granted, he is one of those examples of the reader of the blog turned really close friend. But that's also because he is literally one of us.
Hmm.
And maybe one of these days, people will get to have him. We'll get to have him on the podcast and talk to him
That's
about that.
right.
Um, but yeah, I think you know obviously Spencer and I like we both like brown suits, so we this goes back to the whole community episode and my essay, my personal essays on like hanging out, where like we kind of just make these situations. I mean I even wrote the episode wrote an essay on breathing room where you kind of just make your own opportunities. You know, like for example, if I like John Williams music and I don't hear it, I gotta write it to make to keep that style alive for myself. And so for us, it's like well if we want to wear brown suits and there's no situation calling for it, we'll just wear it when we're going to the bar. We'll, you know,
Hmm.
I wore a brown suit when I got my new suit from Dave. I tell you a fugue. I the first day I wore it was going to a kickback at my friend Joseph's house where he made us Negronis, and I feel like that's kind of an occasion. It's the first time I've ever been to Joseph's house to begin with, and so wearing a brown suit just made sense. I also was wearing it. I don't. People should know I don't wear things right before I leave the house. Okay, it's like I've made the decision to wear it the whole day because it's my fit. So I did wear this to just work from home,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I still wore the brown suit to just doing that. And it hopefully encourages other people to wear brown. When they see the photos of it, because obviously not everyone who follows me gets to be my friend. We're not doing this VTuber shit where you get to assume that you're my best friend just by consuming my content. But I still
I'll
hope
support
that
you
you
forever,
guys.
Ethan. I
Spencer,
love you forever.
we gotta tell you about Anime Expo after this. It's crazy, dude.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I think it's important for us that we show, or for me, that to show people that you can wear these brown suits out and for fun. Like it becomes that look. To be fair, I do that with literally everything. I'll wear a navy suit out. I'll wear a fedora out. Like I kind of just make it so there is no context. It is just literally what I feel like wearing. But one of the things I love wearing is the brown suit. And so
Mhm.
if you have a life similar to mine or Spencer's or MJ's, it's proof that you can kind of wear this
If you
stuff.
live my life,
Yeah.
you'd be wearing a brown
Uh,
suit every day.
I do think that we don't have like I mean if you're a more corporate guy maybe you can't wear that. I mean I'm always reminded of one of the guys in the Discord who got sent home. Not really, but he got a verbal talking to about wearing a green suit, right, to work.
Yeah.
He's like you can't wear that. But maybe hey, I would love it if that guy if he wanted to rock the boat again to wear a brown suit, out there. But again, I think we're seeing a lot of stuff come back. I mean, I think J. Crew has a brown suit now. Spear McKay has
Mhm.
had brown suits. Drake's has always had brown suits. If we're talking a little bit about like inspiration, like I mean, again, you saw Ethan Newton with a bespoke linen brown suit. Mark Cho has that heavy twill brown sack suit from Taylor Cade, which is like the ultimate brown suit. Um,
Mhm.
lots of Drake's game suits. Drake's was really iconic for me to see a modern take on the brown suit being worn like out. Matt Woodruff, Chase, all these guys wore brown suits. Um, like there's also a lot of they'd also wear the brown jacket on its own, which was a lot of fun to see that you can break this up. But even now, when those guys are at the J Muser side, they both have brown suits. That, like they have like the sleek, kind of French '70s look, where like or like late '60s, where Matt Woodruff wears a brown single-breasted worsted wool suit with like a cream knit polo, or with like a multi-striped shirt and like a dark tie or like a khaki tie. I think that that's really cool. Again, it's just proof to show you that brown suits are very versatile. Like you can still wear it any way you want. Like I said, I wear it with dark ties and like striped shirts for a corporate look, and you can wear it with chambrays. You can really wear it any way, any way you want. Well, all right, let's finish off this episode by talking about the suits that we actually own and how we like to wear them. The brown
That's right.
suits. Make it
How about the lawsuits?
well. Can't my NDA says I can't talk about that.
Yeah, I can't talk about any of the lawsuits that I currently am
Well, by the
involved in.
How about
time
the
this
bra
episode
suits?
releases,
Well, I mean, by the time this episode releases, it'll probably be, 5 years from now? We've been banking
I'll be-
these. We're recording this now in 2018.
Banking these.
we'd be in jail.
Yeah.
It's a call to something.
By the way,
Yeah.
I think COVID's going to happen in 2020.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So everyone get ready for that.
Yeah, I hope this releases in time.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Spencer, I know you've owned a couple of brown suits. Why don't you tell us about the
In
ones
my
that
day.
you've... How many have you owned? How many is it? Just the one? The one?
Are we counting khaki as brown?
I think so. We talked about that earlier.
In that case, I feel like I've owned full suits. I think probably just like 2 or 3. I'm guessing. Like
Yeah.
I have my brown Brooks Brothers suit,
The 3-piece
Um,
sack suits.
the 3-piece. I might have had like a vintage brown suit, like from the 50s or 60s, that I got like as a really really early purchase. I don't have it anymore, but I don't remember.
And
for
no
sure.
photos exist of it. I don't think. At least not ones I've taken.
It's completely destroyed, disintegrated.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I do have a bunch of brown sport coats. No, of course I had the brown double-breasted suit. That was kind of cool. I don't have that one anymore.
I don't remember that one
But
at
that
all.
was that was the 20 style one where it was a 60s double-breasted.
Oh, that's right. With it's like 6 on 3, I think, right?
That's right.
You
yeah,
wore it
yeah,
as
it had
Andrew
it was-
Ryan.
Yeah, I think I like that suit. I kind of wish I'd kept that, but that was a very 20s style with the. It was made in the 60s, and it was a chocolate brown with like a green window pane.
Yeah,
That was super nice.
that
That
was
was
really
nice.
good. How do you like to wear your brown suits? Because I mean, I know this. We tried to avoid it with this episode of like talking about sport coats because we already did that episode, like the brown check sport
That's
coat a
right.
while back. But this one, as a full suit, how do you like to wear yours? How have you worn yours?
I mean, I do. I don't know. I kind of like leaning into the like brown
Like
suit, like kind of
country?
everyman
Oh yeah,
thing.
like.
Well, yeah, the country man, the thing too, but it's like I like when you're watching Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah.
Um, like he does the khaki suits or the taupe suits with like the tan shirts or the dark or the light blue shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, keeping everything a little bit more.
Like it's not a business
Uh,
suit, right? It's kind of leaning
yeah,
into
yeah,
like, I
exactly.
mean, as we said earlier, like the brown suit's kind of like a fashion choice, because it's definitely
Mhm.
like a color that you don't normally wear unless you, like if you're gonna wear a suit as a regular guy, you'd probably just wear like, blue or gray. So a brown suit's definitely like the fashion guy's choice, and as a result, you can wear it in more versatile ways that, instead of just being businessy. So I think it makes sense to lean into the more casual, rugged nature, or like again, tonal
Yeah,
tonal stuff that maybe not necessarily wouldn't fly in a corporate environment or whatever.
and then because the brown suit that I have is a Brooks Brothers sack suit. I
Ivy,
tend to wear that one pretty trad.
yeah,
Yeah, because I just it looks good with like either spear points or button down collars.
university stripes,
Um,
black knit
yeah,
ties.
university stripes, stuff like that. It just meshes well with that.
Yeah,
So at least that's how I wear mine. Currently, I have worn it a couple times with like the runaway collar, the kind of like 30s look where you wear it
yeah,
like the
open,
full three piece.
right? With the collar points,
Yeah,
being
that's
out
kind
there.
of fun. I the one suit that I've wanted for like a long time is like a brown summer suit because like in like linen or cotton or seersucker or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would love to do the kind of like open collar shirt with that a lot more if I had it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I really like how you wear your brown suits. I mean, like the iconic look that I'm pretty sure is in the blog post is the one for Friendsgiving last year, where you wore the
Hmm.
brown suit
Yeah.
with the Western hat, the sawtooth, and then like the horse tie or some kind of Western tie. I think that was really cool. That's a really good way of like
Yeah.
showing the versatility of a brown suit. Um, MJ, I know you have a couple of brown suits because they used to be
Your
mine.
brown suits.
Uh, yeah, but which ones are they and how do you like to wear them?
So it's the suit supply cotton suit, and then the wool suit is from Natty Adams. Um, but
That's right.
well, currently I'm trying to wear more ties in general.
Amen,
So
brother.
yeah, just a lot of tie looks. You know, chambray shirt, tie brown suit. Is
Yeah.
cool. Um, uh, I feel like it's good for dressing down too. Like I can do just like a t-shirt with the run suit and keep everything like tonal. Like either like a cream or like off-white t-shirt. Even burgundy I think is cool. Um, I like the brown with my yellow open collar shirts too. I don't know. I feel like
Hell
brown
yeah.
and yellow's always been like you know, I I've got it
Hey,
from
Tintin wore
I
it.
got it from
Tintin wore
yeah,
that
I got
shit.
it from
So
Tintin and like Dwight Schrute. So like it's always been a thing. I didn't make it up.
I go to the garment district to pick up a few crates of my shirts.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun to dress down, like just tonal looks with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the brown is a really good um, way to do that. How do you decide between wearing your brown and your navy suits or your gray suits?
Um, I don't know. It's just you just get inspiration by looking at pictures of Ethan
Do you
and
think you wear the
Spencer.
brown suits more often?
I think so. I feel like because it's maybe it's seen as like more casual than
Yeah.
like navy. It feels easier to just kind of break out for like a whatever day or like everyday usage.
That's good. So for me, a lot of you guys know that I love wearing brown suits. It's like my favorite color. I've been trying to give it a break by wearing like my gray suits, which I was famously against for a long time, just because I didn't have brown suits. And then all of a sudden, after I had my favorite ones, and it's like, okay, well now I guess I can go back to gray. Gray was not a priority for me. But
Mhm.
like the guy said, I think brown, or like I said too, brown is just a more fashiony choice. I think whenever I wear like navy blue or gray, I tend to, I tend to lean into the more corporate or like the more traddy connotation, like more straightforward kind of connotations. But when it comes to the brown suit, it's like a blank canvas for me. I think brown suits look good with like canvas sneakers. I think it looks good, with knitwear, with a t-shirt, like MJ says. I've worn my brown DB with my miniature tiger shirt, which I think Derek Guy likes to use as a photo of me. Speaking of that,
Mhm.
Derek also
Yes,
loves that
sir.
photo of me wearing the brown suit with the like with like the little bit of a brighter or lighter brown Western
Did you
shirt.
see
Uh,
Timothy Chalamet wearing that combo kind of
oh,
recently?
he did. Maybe his stylist reads the blog. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
don't know who knows. Maybe he saw it on Twitter
Hell yeah, I would love to be friends with Timothy Chalamet.
with
Gotta
TC.
yeah, and like be a third wheel
Timothy.
while he's making out
Mm-hmm.
with Kylie Jenner or something. That's
Kylie
crazy.
Jenner.
Um, but yeah, I have a lot of brown suits. I've had a couple over the years. Obviously, like MJ says, I had the brown cotton suit supply suit that I gave him. That's two button patch pockets. It was a good Drake's dupe for a long time. I had a brown Atelier Fugue that I gave to my friend John. I had a brown, like a fleck flannel that I gave to Jay. That's in the same cut as the brown cotton one. Um, and then I had a dark brown, like a taupe brown cotton from Fugue that was a little bit more updated, and a brown corduroy as well. The corduroy one was Spear and McKay. That one went to James. The the brown cotton one that was more taupe and fully 100% cotton went to Jay, and then I also had a Brooks Brothers sack suit, which is a little bit earlier than Spencer's, which I love. It's like from like the 50s or late 50s or so. That one was good, except it was just a little too heavy, and I wanted the leg to be wider. I wanted it to be a little bit longer because it wasn't enough to let down, and I feel like I had a false cuff in there, and I broke that guy up a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I wore that as brown separate sport coat a lot, but then became after I gave all those away because of like fit and just weather. I didn't have a brown suit for a little bit, but then I got the Hall Madden brown DB made of crisp air. That's been my favorite. It's based on my navy blue suit, which you guys have seen, but it's a little bit wider since I adjusted the pattern, and now it's starting to be a little bit tight again in the arms and shoulders. So hopefully I don't have to. I think I got to stop working out so I can fit into that. But that brown
That's
DB,
right.
I love. I love wearing that guy. I wear it so much. I wear it with again knitwear, um, March T-shirts. I've worn it a lot with just my favorite blue striped spear points with 30s ties. I wear it with chambrays a lot. I think we've said it a lot during the blog post and in the podcast of like wearing chambray or work shirts with brown suits. I feel like it just makes sense, as like Spencer said, like it's like a regular guy, something
Mm-hmm.
that it feels a little bit less subversive than just wearing like chambray or denim with a blue suit. That's subversive because like, oh, business with a casual thing, but with brown it's already inherently casual, so it just makes sense. Or it just feels so natural. So again, the brown DB, I love doing it. And some, I guess, as we said earlier too, like people think DB is formal, so having it in a brown fabric makes it feel a little bit more casual. And especially again because a double-breasted feels like a pea coat, it can also feel a little bit more easy to wear casually as opposed to a single-breasted one, because it feels quirky, it feels fashiony. Um,
Yeah.
I also have a brown wool suit, single-breasted, which is a relatively new purchase. As well, it's earlier this year, but it's single-breasted. Finally, getting back to wearing brown wool, um, and I love that one. It's like a taupe-ish color, or a little bit like not too much of a chocolate brown, so it works for that Oppenheimer look. I did wear it to
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer, as we said in the podcast episode that came out earlier, in the first, earlier this fall, and yeah, I like wearing that one. I've kind of dressed that one up a little bit. I haven't worn that one too casually because it's a little bit of a finer fabric. Um, it's a little bit shinier as a result. It's like a twill, but still nice. I'm sure I'd break it down and wear. I've already worn it with like a yellow sports shirt, like MJ says, like Tintin. I wore that to the SFC trunk show. Um, But yeah, I really like wearing. I also love wearing a lot of black with brown. I think whenever I wear brown, I tend to wear black shoes, black belts, um, a beret, a black fedora, because I feel like the contrast is good. I feel like wearing a brown shoe can be a little bit too samey, and then with like a gray hat feels a little bit too boring. So I feel like wearing dark brown, or sorry, a black hat and shoes and leathers just makes the most sense for the color. And I think that Simon Crompton's also written about wearing black shoes with brown suits. I feel like it makes sense. You see that in the 70s a lot with like black boots with brown suits. So I like that contrast. And then most recently I got the like brown plaid linen double-breasted suit, which is Ralph Lauren. Crazy thrift find. I'm sure it's a little bit newer, and this episode's coming out a little bit later in the year in October. So it might not, you guys might not see it as much. I'm sure I'll include a couple of pictures of it, but rest assured, next spring, summer, I'm going to be wearing that bad boy. It is so good. Craziest thrift find of all time. I love wearing brown. I've worn it so far with I've worn it super Esquire Man with a spear point and like a rep stripe tie. I've worn it with a brown tonal Western shirt, kind of like doing an Armani 90s thing. I wore that with black sandals and a black Western belt. And so, I mean, yeah, overall, brown suits are great. I mean, I know we're probably preaching to the choir here, but if anyone's listening to this and they're on the fence, I feel like it's such a good move. I mean, obviously, I think we always say to start off with a blue suit, maybe a gray if that's your preferred color. But I think after that first one, you can get away with a brown suit. And as we've said, like you can dress it up. You can do it formally. Do like a poplin white shirt with a black grenadine tie. I feel like it looks really nice and slick. You could do it with an OCBD with a black knit tie. It still looks very good. But then you can wear it with an Aloha shirt. You can wear it with a merch t-shirt. It just makes more sense. And it feels, again, natural to the casual vibe of brown as opposed to, like, being super subversive by wearing, again, with a navy blue corporate suit. Like, you're not going too crazy. You're not taking something completely out of its wheelhouse. Because brown it's an intentional choice. It's fashiony. It's casual. It's rugged. It's different. There's a lot more you can do with a brown suit. And I think if you're a guy in tailoring who is interested in getting the most out of tailoring, I think a brown suit in a open weave wool, very nice and drapey, or even I think a cotton suit. I mean, obviously I've kind of gone back on the cotton suit a little bit just because I like more drape now, and I want things to drape cleanly without wrinkles. But wherever you go with, I think it's totally fun, and of course, it actually is easier to break it up. You know what I'm saying? Like. Brown sport coats, brown trousers. I think you're going to wear brown trousers and a brown sport coat more than you'll wear the navy trousers. Or even, and maybe if you have a gray suit, if you break that up, you might wear the pants a lot, but you might not wear the jacket because a gray jacket's kind of hard to wear on its own. But brown jackets and pants work with everything. But wear it together because that's the cool part. The suit is good. It's like I said earlier, it's like the vibe of a sport coat, the casual vibe of a sport coat, but enveloping your whole fit. I think that's really fun.
And really quick, but I forgot to say this, one of my favorite combos, brown and pink.
Ooh, yeah, that is a good one.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like a brown suit with a pink shirt or like a pink tie or something like that. I think that's a really good color combo.
Yeah, I mean, making me think about wearing my pink Western shirt with a brown suit this weekend. Maybe I'll do that.
Maybe.
But thank you guys for listening. Be sure to read. The blog post has a bunch of pictures of every variation of brown suit. I think this one might be the longest blog post of photos ever because I just love brown so much, and so many guys have worn it really, really well. I hope it serves as a really good source of inspiration for you guys. I hope it doesn't crash your fucking phones when you have it. But yeah, I think you guys will enjoy all the photos and of course the write-up of my thoughts on the brown suit. But if that's not enough for you, if you want to post your own brown suits, you want us to see it and talk about it with us, you can go to patreon.com/sounddirection. That is our place. You can give us money if you want to do it for 1 month, which is fine, or do it for forever, which is preferred. You can do that. $5 a month gives you access to our exclusive Discord of guys, of like-minded guys who just want to give us money. It's optional. I mean, we're gonna make the podcast whether or not you give money, but we'd love it if you did. And we'd be very generous. Right. We all want our $1.75 or how $5 splits into 3 ways, whatever that happens to be. But yeah, $5 a month gets access to our Discord and our backlog of movies. I know the Barbenheimer was free. But hey, you got to hear about the haunting in Venice. You got to hear
The
about
Haunting?
yeah. You got to hear about
Haunting?
Dick Tracy. You got to hear about Back to the Future. I think you got to hear about Live by Night. You got to have all this stuff coming at you only for people who are subscribed on Patreon. And at $10 a month, you get all of that plus
Ooh.
MJ says your name personally. MJ, who are we thanking today?
We are thanking our Sadcast fanatics, who are Shane Curry, Philip Gregard, Henrik Wilberg, and Alexander Batten.
We appreciate you guys so much. We wouldn't do this without you. That's actually not true because we'd be doing this regardless of anyone doing this or not.
Do it with or without you.
Yeah, we don't need you.
Right. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. There's a lot of cool, fun photos up there at Style and Direction. You can follow me at Ethan M. Wong.
I'm at Spencer DSO.
I'm at MJ.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.